Welcome. In front of me I have the Boox GO Color 7, and I'll go over unboxing. I'll look at with a quick look at the device and its specs. So, in here we have a pretty nice looking packaging, I would say. There we go. So this is a much smaller device than I expected, so my hand for comparison. I think, though I could be wrong, it might be even smaller than the Kindle Oasis, which it tries to imitate. But unlike the Kindle Oasis, this has a trick up its sleeve, which is the color display. So you can already see kind of like bluish, reddish tones right here on the e-ink display. Now the back itself looks to be plastic, though it has a very strange texture. Not sure how to even like define what I'm looking at here as a texture. It is obviously not smooth. You can feel the bumps here. I would assume it gives you a better kind of a grip on this, which might be decent. Now setting that to the side. Yeah, there we go. Get that out. So here we have our charging cable, which is a Type-C. Then we got a SIM ejectable for some reason. I assume we can actually pop in a SD card in here. And then we have some, what looks to be a warranty and instructions. So, let's boot up the device itself. If I can find the power button. Oh, there we go, it's at the bottom. So, in a second, once it boots up, let's actually we can already talk about the display right here. So in terms of the resolution for the display, we're looking at 1264 by 1680, which puts it at 300 pixels per inch. And the color one is actually a different resolution. So it's two different displays overlaid on each other, if I'm correct. Oh, what did I just do? Why did it flip? Okay, let me quickly find English, there we go. So the color display has basically half the pixel density and half the resolution at 632 by 840. So that's the resolution for the color. It has a backlit display, which I'm pretty sure it's already being backlit. If I kind of turn off some of the lights, or maybe I can already see it. So yeah, this is backlit. I can probably lock it, and there we go, you can see the light go off. So yeah, backlighting right here, I have red and agreed, cool. Let's quickly go through this. Okay, so we have gestures right here, though these are the very crappy gestures, I have to say. The ones where it's like directional, so it's basically a navigation button that you swipe up on instead of just pressing them. So I think I would just prefer buttons, as the swipe gestures are, I just can't, they're too bad. Anyway, moving on, we have up and down scroll gesture. Okay, so it gives me some just instructions. And there we go, that was a pretty quick setup. And you can already also see the color right here. Now, looking at it closely, kind of want to see the actual like difference in resolution maybe. Let me bring up my phone. I want to put on macro. Okay, let's see if we can see anything here. So we can obviously see the color pixels right here, though on the camera they don't look super great, but I can see the relative size of them, and yeah, up very close, I would say it, when you zoom in like super close as I am right now, it is noticeable. So you can see that the color ones are fairly visible right here. You can see kind of like the separation between them. While you scroll down, they become clumped up enough for you to not be able to discern from the actual pixels, at least not with my camera. Oops, I pressed on something. Let's go back. There we go. I'm gonna try to just capture the black right here. Don't cancel me, that sounded so wrong. Okay, so there we go. I don't seem to be able to capture this in more of a sharp image of it, so anyway, I'm just gonna put it aside. Now, let's continue on. So, even though it looks like the OS right here, this is actually running Android 12 right here. So, other than the odd skin over it, it is just a Android with its own launcher. It also comes with 4 GB of RAM LPDDR4X. Comes with a 64 GB of storage built in, and UFS 2.2 storage type. And let's see if I can pop out any kind of tray. Oh yeah, there is. There we go. And that houses... Is that an SD card? I'm actually not sure. Yep, it looks like an SD card. Just the most like perfectly sized SD tray that I have ever seen. So yeah, you can pop in an SD card right here, expand the storage past the 64 gigs. Pretty good. Now in terms of processor, it states that it has a Qualcomm 2.4 GHz octa-core processor. Doesn't really go into much detail, and this is straight up from their website. Other than that, we obviously one of the clear info there. We have a touch screen, no duh. It's pretty expected. And additionally, this is Boox, so we do have these kind of more high refresh rate modes on here. So right now you can kind of see this right here. This is pretty decent refresh rate already for a paper ink display. Now we should have an option to even make it faster. So I do need to look for it. I think there should be a way. What is this? Ah, there we go. Refresh mode, so we have normal, we have speed, and we have A2. Not sure what the A2 is. See the speed. Okay, so the speed one doesn't leave the trail behind anymore, but it is much choppier, I would say. Let's see the other one. A2 mode, having ghosting, suitable for scrolling pages with images and text. Okay, so this seems to be better refresh rate for it, but as you can see, it leaves kind of like after images on the e-ink display, so it doesn't clear out the e-ink afterwards, and you can see it just kind of leaves it there. So this would require you to manually refresh the screen so these disappear. I honestly think that you can also see it here, so you can still see the book through this as it stayed on the screen on the e-ink. So yeah, I think that the normal one is probably the best one, or speed. Now let's see if there's any kind of message. With speed mode, with slight ghosting, suitable for quick, I wouldn't say quick, thumbing through images and text. Now there is actually more. Let's see what we get under more. So we have drag to refresh every 1 second. So this is pretty nice. We can set a refresh rate right here. So every 1 second it should clear it, fully clear whatever kind of ghosting after images that are left on. Then we have current app, full refresh rate by clicking, count 20, animation filter time. Not sure what this is. Let's see what we got right here. Guess I'm just gonna keep it as it is, whatever. So this is looking like it's the high refresh rate with, yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna switch to normal. For some reason the normal is supposed to be the like least fast, but because it just kind of has this smooth trail that might not look too appealing, it does feel much smoother compared to the other options. I don't know what's about it, but yeah, it just feels better, at least to me. Now anyway, let's talk about the device itself. So I did kind of mention a couple of things. So we do have a cable. Now the charging here is Type-C, unlike the Kindle Oasis, at least the one that I had recently right here. This uses Type-C, unlike the micro USB. At the bottom we have our power button that also has an LED light, which right now it's off. We also have speakers built in, and that SIM tray, along with 2 physical buttons on the front right here for flipping pages, and probably also should give you some kind of ability to assign special functions to it. In terms of the bezels, we do have this kind of bigger bezel right here, and I do want to point out Kindle Oasis, I believe, had a bigger one, so this is smaller, which I do personally like, and the bezels overall for an ebook are pretty small. Most ebooks have, I believe, thicker bezels than this, so this is a very minimal bezels right here for an ebook reader. And additionally, kind of just glanced over this, but like I said, it does use a color display. Now this is a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing if you really want to have color, obviously you do, and if you want to maybe draw something, I do believe you can actually get a pen for this and just kind of utilize this as a drawing tablet. The e-ink display in here does give you a significantly decreased battery life, so that is something to keep in mind. If you want to use this only as an ebook reader, you might want to look for the version of this that doesn't have the color display, as this will give you better battery life. But for people that do want to have that additional flair, this will still give you significantly better battery life over the phone, but nothing compared to like the actual e-ink black and white display. And I think from what I've read online, because I never actually tested it out myself yet, I think the difference of battery life is just cut by half, which would make sense considering these are 2 separate displays by the looks of it, as we have 2 different resolutions for color display and the paper ink black and white display. So it would make sense that the refresh rate is being, or not refresh rate, but battery life is cut in half, as we have possibly 2 displays to drive, or 2 different panels to drive, that one supports color, yet one supports just black and white. So anyway, that would basically sum up the overview right here. It's a fantastic ebook reader with a small footprint, nice design. The only thing that I kind of like from the Oasis a little bit that we don't have right here is this thicker back right here that kind of made it nicer to hold the device in your hand. Here we don't have it. It's a fully flat back, as you can see. It's a little bit convexed as well. As you can see, it kind of bows out just very subtly, and the build quality compared to like the Oasis, which I would argue mimics, is lesser. So we do have plastic back, very scratchy one, and we do have plastic frame along with plastic front, as I don't think this is actually glass. Now, one thing that I will point out, the display right here is just full covered, so there's no groove between the display and the bezel. It's just straight up flat. So that's pretty cool, as some other devices that do have the display recessed in the bezel do have the problem of like having dirt just kind of get in the bezel right there. And obviously because it's a display layer and then you have like the a frame that just covers it, it's very hard to get the dirt from like under here once it gets there. So this design is much better, I would argue, for just having easy ability to just clean the display once it gets dirty. But anyway, one last thing that I will mention is the price, and officially on their website they're charging, at least in PLN, they're charging 1,229 PLN, which equates to about $300, maybe a little bit less. Let me quickly check. USD to PLN, and we're looking at, yeah, so that would be basically $300. Now that would include tax, I do want to point out. So without tax, it's probably below, probably like $299, I would assume. They would be probably charging you, as you know, that's usually the prices. You need to have 99. So yeah, price-wise, for an ebook reader, this is on a, I would say, more steeper side. But when you consider the fact that it does have a color display right here, I would say it's more affordable compared to some other options. And when it comes down to colored ebook readers, there isn't very many options at the moment, at least. And a lot of the options that you can buy actually comes from this company. And this is one of their, I believe, smaller devices, as they do have more of a tablet form factor with like 11-inch displays. This, on the other hand side, is much smaller, and the display right here is at 7 inches. So, like I said, this is a significantly smaller display compared to their other options that come with actual color displays. And like I said, the bigger tablets do have a pen that comes provided with them. So obviously these are more designed for creative work, I would say, while trying to retain some decent battery life. Now, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.